Okay, here's the rigging for Grace, my Welsford Tread Lightly. We'll start with the mainsail first. I've got a two-piece carbon fibre mast which has a join on it about where my hand is there, then goes right the way up to the top. At the top I've got a pulley that goes right through the centre of that tube that I run my halyard through. The halyard is attached to the top of that yard. I've got saddles on the top of the yard with spring hooks, as they're called, to join the yard to the halyard. The halyard then gets pulled down to that block that's on the front of the deck there, down to a flush flat block, then running back to a jam cleat where the cabin meets the cockpit, and then I usually just tie that up to this horn cleat that I've got here. I've never had a jam cleat I should say, never had one of those let go on me yet. It works really well, works well for me. The boom and the yard are also attached to the mast using those parallel beads that you can see there, and there's a spring hook on one end of those. The other end is permanently tied onto the boom, and also, probably can't see it, but onto the yard up there. Downhaul, I've got the downhaul on the starboard side. It's a matter of preference, basically, whatever you want to do. As you can see, I've utilised one of those spring hooks again, and I can get a bit of adjustment by putting the spring hook onto the front saddle if I want to. That spring hook holds a double block, and that leads the downhaul halyard to a triple block. That's once again held with a spring hook onto a saddle on the deck, then goes out to the side and comes back to the gangway back here. The sail, I've got it just spiral wrapped onto both yard and boom up there, and also on my sail I've got two lots of reefing points, and I've used them as well. Don't be afraid to shorten sail and to reef early. Moving to the back, the main sheet is attached with this bracket at the back here. I've got a single block with a becket on it going down to a double block with no becket. Both of them are swivel, which I find tends to help with the line, and I've got it attached with this quick release hook tacked onto there, going onto that saddle on the deck. I don't use any other form of cleat for the main sheet other than the cam cleats, which I've got a port and a starboard one, depending as to which side the sail's on. They work really well as they are. I could have got these combined into a block arrangement, but the price of that I found was prohibitive, so me being me, I didn't bother. Okay, moving on to mizzen. The mizzen goes all the way through and goes in this tube on Grace as well. John has his mizzen mounted about there on the Tread Lightly. I just found it easier to mount it where it is. My mizzen mast is also two-piece carbon fibre. You can probably see the join in the middle there. And I've got a block screwed, surface block, screwed to the rear end of that, which holds my halyard. The halyard's on a spring hook up to the top eye of the sail on the luff. Goes up one side, down the other, and it terminates here in this little horn cleat that I've got there. It works just fine. I also don't have a boomkin on the boat. I may put one on, but I really wanted to leave this area along here clear, without obstruction. And I also didn't want the extra metre almost sticking out the back. So I adjust my mizzen with these two halyards got there, so just I can adjust it, as you see, depending on the wind. And see, I'll get this sprit boom nicely tensioned. Generally I'm tensioning the mizzen and forgetting that it's there basically after that, but I can, if I want to, depending on the angle of sail, adjust these halyards from one side to wherever I want to basically. And this system might be a little bit cumbersome, but it works. As I mentioned, I might put a boomkin on later. I've got the foot of the sail attached to a saddle on the deck with one of these spring hooks, and the head of the sail is attached to the halyard also with a spring hook, and there's a spring hook where it goes onto the boomkin at the back there. And on the mast here I've just got a little saddle going up to a shackle, going up to another saddle on the mast that terminates at a jam cleat. And once again, it works.